Electronic parking brake is here. You also have adjustable pedals, which you can adjust this in and out, these pedals down here. Headlight switch is here, so you have off, parking light, headlights on, and then automatic function. Fog lights are controlled here. Bed lights for the cargo lights are here. Dimmer switch for the interior gauges and interior lights in general, and then the ambient lighting right here. We'll look at that in the night video. And then it has a tilt and telescoping steering column. Kind of stiff. Trying to get it from this side. But yeah, it has this nice boot right there. And you lock it in place here, which is easy to get to, that lever. And also, you see these buttons on the back of the steering wheel? You can actually see them now, but when we get inside, I'll show you what they're for. I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and I'm 6 feet tall. I have the driver's seat all the way back and all the way down to give you an idea of the potential legroom here. And with it, this is basically where I have it, as far as the distance from the pedals here. I can adjust the pedals here. It does have the adjustable brake and accelerator pedals. The steering wheel I have pulled out a little bit. But yeah, you can see there's lots of room. My legs are not touching on anything, and even if they did, this is relatively soft, but it's completely out of the way. Same thing here. There's no obstructions or anything like that. It's just wide open space. I feel like I'm sitting in a chair. So yeah, it's overall fine. And the angle of the footrest is perfect for me. So yeah. So lots of room here in the front, basically. Even when I have the seat all the way back, there's still lots of room in the back as well. Okay, so the steering wheel is a leather wrapped, feels really nice, really high-end feeling leather, and it has a stitching there on the inside. It doesn't stick up too much. It's relatively well-rounded and I haven't had any problem with it being annoying or anything, the stitching. We have a little bit of ebony wood. Now this is coated with something, so it doesn't have the open pore like you see in other areas of the truck. But yeah, it looks really nice. And it is a heated steering wheel. And it's the type that has the buttons on the back of the steering wheel, like I showed you before. It has the volume here on the back here. Let me see it. It's actually 3 buttons on each side. So up, down, and a center button. And so basically the volume is here on the right, up and down. And then the center button changes through the audio sources. So you can change to, so right now it's in Sirius XM. We can change it to AM, that kind of thing. Different audio sources. On the left side is changed to the tracks or the presets, depending on what you have set at. Or let's say you're playing off your device, it'll change to the next track or whatever. Now the center button is for your presets on your radio only. The cruise control is here on the right side. And basically you have 2 options here. One is to turn it on with the steering assist or just regular cruise control. So whatever you turn it on with, it'll activate that. Now with this, either way, when you turn it on, you can set by going up or down here, resume and cancel, so that's relatively straightforward. Now since it has the adaptive cruise control, you can set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you with these 2 buttons. I'm glad it has 2 buttons, so we can actually choose to go greater or less distance without having to cycle through and rest on the one that you want. You can be more specific here. Like if you're on the highway, you don't want to cycle through and then all of a sudden you're getting really, really close to a vehicle, and then you all of a sudden it brakes and slows down. You just want to be able to manually adjust it forward and back. Now it does have a gear limiter here. Let's say you're going downhill, you can downshift or you bring it back up, that kind of thing. Here on the left side, you have these arrows and this OK. This is for the screen, which is also your gauges. We'll get to that in a minute. You also have the phone button, so you can answer or hang up. And I like the way it has 2 separate buttons once again, because if you're driving and you want to answer the call when you hang up, a lot of other vehicles have a single button to press again to hang up. Now if you don't have a separate hang up button, then when you press that button you could be answering another call and not even know it. So having a definitive hang up button is very important to me anyway. So this is where your drive modes are. So as you can kind of cycle through here, you have tow mode, sport mode, off-road, automatic, and then it goes back to snow. So leaving it automatic will be your normal mode right there. Now I don't know if you can tell, like sometimes certain cameras will pick up little lights right in here, and what they are is illuminators, IR illuminators, and there's actually a camera here as well, because this vehicle has a hands-free cruise control system where you can let go of the steering wheel. So it's only able to do that as if you're paying attention to the road. If you start like, you know, fiddling with your phone or whatever, then it's gonna, you know, warn you to look at the road. So there's a camera, and there's actually little illuminators there to be able to see through sunglasses and also see your face at nighttime. So this camera doesn't seem like it's picking up those lights, but some cameras do. Windshield wiper controls are here. It's pretty straightforward, and you have a mist here at the button on the end. The automatic high beams work really well. I'm very surprised. This vehicle actually is one of the best as far as the automatic high beam function. That's great. I'm usually skeptical of automatic high beams on vehicles because they just don't work well, and they start flashing cars and causing problems, but this one is really good. So I have my shade, trying to block some of the light with the shade there so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's really hard to get rid of that glare. I mean, it's just there because it's, you know, it's just gonna happen, I guess. But hopefully you can see. Right now, the screen has a digital speedometer here in the center, RPM gauge, tachometer, speedometer here on the right, just a normal one. Engine coolant temperature here, and then the fuel gauge is here on the right side. And you notice that I have it in automatic. Remember I put the drive mode in automatic? Well, that's the 4-wheel drive automatic. You can actually put it in 2-wheel drive right there. So if you just want it in 2-wheel drive, you can do that. But you can't cycle through the drive modes and then land on 2-wheel drive. Using these buttons right here, the OK, up, down, all that stuff, and this button, we're gonna use that as well. So let's just scroll down so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is, the first one is part of a menu system, number 1, speedometer. If we scroll to the right, we have a different view. Scroll it to the left, more traditional view. Going down, driver information. Next one is vehicle info, which has multiple screens if I go left and right. So you have different gauges here. Tire pressure, stop start feature. So yeah, all kinds of different you know, information about the vehicle. Scrolling down again will be your trip. So you have trip A and trip B. You can reset them independently. Scroll down again, goes to your navigation. Actually has a navigation map. So you can have both the navigation map here and on the big screen as well. Really handy when you have a destination set and you can, you know, keep an eye on it. It also gives you turn-by-turn directions on the heads-up display as well. All right, so trailer tow information here. Scrolling down again, we're in number 7, audio, whatever your radio is doing. Going down again, stored messages. 9 would be your settings, so you can have your head-up display, your screen setup. We can go in here and we can choose what we want on the screen. So right now we have the digital compass and the outside temperature. We can select the outside temperature and change it to, let's go to range to empty. So there, it just swaps the outside temperature to range. All right. Now we scroll down again, it brings us back to the original screen here. Now, this button right here, we'll just call it Pages button, I guess. You pull that up, and then you can choose different ones that you want here. So I chose the gauges. We can go back, choose the radio. We can have it system. This is like the lane keep assist system. So yeah, we can choose different views here if we want, kind of like quick access one. But I like the very first one for just standard view. Easily recognizable. Hopefully the glare isn't too bad because it's just a big problem on this vehicle. For some reason they have that really highly reflective plastic right over the gauges, and you know, it can be an issue, especially on camera. All right, so we saw the start button. So here's the 4-wheel drive controls and the shifter. So it's pretty basic. You saw on the drive modes where we can quickly go to the 4-wheel drive auto. But we have 4-wheel drive high and 4-wheel drive low. We also have a neutral system for flat towing. I don't have any experience with that, but that's my understanding that the neutral is for. Also, the idle stop, you can turn it off, which I usually do. You can lock the axle as well, the rear axle. All right, so over here, huge touchscreen, but above that, has this little storage cubby right here with a 12-volt power supply that's directly connected to the battery. You see the battery image on there. That shows you that when the vehicle's off, it's still connected to the battery. If you see a little key, that means that the 12-volt power supply is switched. So this one is not switched. You can charge the device even when you turn the vehicle off, go in the store or whatever, or while you're working, you can still charge the device there. And this is like a little rubberized floor in this compartment as well, so you can take it out, clean it, put it back in. I really like this ebony wood as well. You can feel the open pore grains in here, looking really nice. Looks good, feels good. Okay, so this screen has physical buttons on the outside here, on the left and right. Physical volume knob, tune through the stations. So this is the climate control. It has a little bit of redundancy here for convenience. So your temperature for the driver and passenger, audio, like the mode in this location here is for where you want the air to blow. So when I hit that, when mode is sometimes associated with the radio with changing the audio source, but in this case that's for the climate control. Fan speed, you have an automatic function. Front and rear defrosters, recirculate the air. It's all physical buttons here, but it's also on the screen as well. So this is the home button on the screen. It's a Uconnect system and has these little shortcuts here at the bottom. There's a lot more than there is here, but it gives you a good platform to go by. So you have the home button, which is a split view, which you can edit here if you like. Right now it's showing the map, whatever the radio is doing, and then the climate control. And you can tap the one that you want to quickly go there. But you can also use these little icons here at the bottom as well. So the next one here is media. And you can change your audio source here. You can choose sources, see what's playing. You can browse, and then you can quickly go into the audio settings, which is nice. The next one is comfort. All right, so now we can go to the fan speed, recirculate the air where we want the air to blow. And then we have the heated seat, ventilated seat, heated steering wheel. We also can go into the massage options here as well. So when we turn it on, there it is. We have waterfall, lower back. We can extend, lower extend, rock climb. And then we can adjust the intensity here. And then whether we want on the back and the bottom, or just the back, or just the bottom. So it's pretty cool to have a massage while you're driving. And it's not like overly intrusive, the massage. It's even on high, it's good, but it's not like, really a problem. It's not like uncomfortable, All right, so the next one is the navigation. So here's the navigation map. And you can put it in 2D or 3D mode. The good thing about a vertical screen like this is it gets to see down the road a little bit more, especially in this view here. And you can kind of move it around, get your bearings, see where you're at, that kind of stuff, and then recenter it. You can also zoom in and out as well, pinch zoom. So the next one is your phone. Once you pair your phone, you have access to all your contacts, recent calls, all that stuff, favorites, and then the voice recognition will be more useful because you can call people just by saying their name. And the voice recognition with calling somebody, you would just press the phone button. It also serves as the little microphone as well. So you can press that button, say, hey, call Van Underwood, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Whiteville, North Carolina. If that's in your phone book, then you can make that call just by using your voice. The next one is the vehicle. So this will be, you can see these little pages up here. So you have the camera, which is great. Dashboard, controls, and then you can go into your settings here, vehicle settings. Let's look at the camera because this is awesome. So we have the surround camera, and it has a top view. It has right now the back view. We can have the back wide view, the front wide view, the front narrow view with the top down view. Just looking at the back up camera, which has the active guidelines as well. When you put it in reverse, this is what you'll see. But you also have these auxiliary cameras. You have 2 auxiliary camera possibilities. So once you connect those, you can put that on the back of a trailer, that kind of thing, and the connections are in the back. And this could be a game changer, you know, just make it so much easier. But it also has, see if it's in here, yep, the curb view, and got more cams, and then there's the passenger curb view. So you can actually see the front tire right there. As I turn the steering wheel, you can see it popping out. So you can get a very precise look at where you are in relationship to the curb or whatever you happen to need to look at. But yeah, these are really high definition. Hopefully my camera's doing it justice, because it is a really high definition system. It just looks really good, and you're able to see clearly. And the size on the screen is fairly well. Considering you have this huge screen, it's a little bit small, but you know, it still looks good. It's still useful. And having the auxiliary camera options is awesome. All right, so the next one is apps. So this will be all the apps, or all the options here on the vehicle. So you have all, I'm just scroll through that. It does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all that good stuff. Alexa, you have media sources, comfort, options, navigation, phone, scroll down, vehicle, system, other, miscellaneous. And then you can have some favorites here. So you can store the ones that you want to have in the favorites pile, so that way you don't have to scroll through everything looking for the ones that you use all the time. And you notice here at the top, it has some information about your temperature, your statuses, your seats, controls, heated seat controls, heated steering wheel, outside temperature. You also have this quick access button here for camera. So you can pop up the camera simply by pressing that button. I wish it was a little bit more, like, you know, easier to get to. But anyways, it's up here on the screen. It's a little tiny button. But you also have this swipe down top, which you can access different shortcuts here as well, which you can customize. All right, so down here is your trailer brake gain control. You can adjust the actual pressure of the brakes as well here. Now, I don't have any experience with this, but this little knob is the rear steering for the trailer. So it's like a trailer assist backup system, which is supposed to work pretty good. It looks pretty neat for what I've seen other people use it. So the front and rear parking sensors can quickly be turned off here if we want to, because let's say we're getting close to something, we can turn them off. This is the off button. So when the light's illuminated, they're off. But yeah, if you get close to something and it's just beeping at you, and for whatever reason you want to turn it off because you know you're close to something, you can go and turn that off, especially if you have a trailer or something like that. You can also adjust the height of the vehicle. So you can see it's in normal mode, but we can lower it or raise it if we want to. So down here is a lot of USB ports. So we have USB-C, 3 of them, USB-A, 3 of them, a HDMI input for that passenger screen over there, and also an auxiliary input as well. Now you notice this one has like a little charge. That's just for charging. These are actually connectivity to the system and charging. So there's this little rest right there as well. Now it has these cell phone chargers, wireless chargers, and they work well. Okay, so you have to kind of wedge your cell phone in there, and if you have a wire sticking out of the bottom that actually goes into the system, there's a little bit of cable management here, so it runs out the bottom and along the side here, and then you can go into the port. So yeah, it does have a little bit of ability to have cable management, which is nice. So if you have a wallet case like mine, I have to open it up in order to put it in place because it's kind of tight. And also I have a big phone, so you know it does work. It's just if the case is too thick or whatever, then you might have to have to do something like this. But once you get it in there, it stays put and it stays charging. It doesn't automatically like start charging and then 2 seconds later it stops charging, and the whole time you think you're charging when you're not. So it does charge well as long as you get the phone in place. There's also a power inverter, 400 watt, 115 volt AC power inverter, 3-prong like you'd find in your house. And this compartment here is huge. It goes in there, it goes up in here as well. So lots of space here. It has a mat that's rubberized to keep things from sliding around, and also you can take it out, clean it, put it back in. There's a little tab right there, so you can grab it and pull it out. But yeah, it goes way back in here as well, but which we'll get to look at the other side in a second. This little tray right here slides forward and back, and it locks in place very sturdily. It's not rattling or anything. It locks here, here, and here. So you have your different positions. And this has some more of that open pore wood looking nice. Press that. This is where you'll find some cup holders. And then here is like a little felt compartment with some coin holders and stuff. Good place to put some pins or whatever. There's also actually a little spot right here for some pins as well, right in here. I kind of like the fact that it's a little bit recessed, so that way the light doesn't, sun doesn't beat down on the pins all day. Okay, so this armrest, soft to the touch, very soft and comfortable. It looks really nice with the stitching and everything. Has a limited badge there, and we can still access these cup holders here and the tablet holder. But this actually lifts up in two sections. So the upper section lifts up, and then you have this felt-lined, more shallow compartment here. Got my business cards in the way, but we have a USB charge port in here as well. And there's also a place for wires to go in and out of this compartment as well right here. Now the second handle is actually two little latches here, the top one and then the bottom one. The bottom one lifts up the whole thing, and this is where you can access this huge compartment. So that when I showed you before, going in this way, it goes all the way back here. So you have a little divider you can flip up, but yeah, it goes all the way back here. And I got some keychains and stuff in there. And so yeah, we have a large compartment. It goes all the way across this whole thing. So yeah, I can see where you can have that really junked up if you don't be careful. It's like a junk drawer. And there's that pen holder I was talking about. And under here is some information as well, which Rams had this kind of stuff for a long time. So the rear view mirror is also a rear view camera. So we have the ability to have a mirror and a camera, and we have some settings here that we can go in and adjust the brightness and stuff like that as well. But I really like the rear view cameras. It's really good. I'm getting spoiled with them. So we have a place to put your sunglasses, shade, safety glasses, whatever, and it has a felt lining. And then we have individual reading lights here and here. Turn on all the lights here. We can drop the tailgate by pressing that button twice, and then we can turn off the lights from turning on basically when we open the door by pressing that button. That's the off button once again. So now if I open the door, the lights will not turn on, like if you have a baby sleeping or something like that and you don't want them to turn on. So you have the roadside assistance, that button's here, and then this is for the rear sliding glass. Well, I'll show you that in a few minutes. Now the visors have a cloth material, just like the headliner in black. A little clip right here, put your registration or whatever, and then there's a mirror with lights. And at nighttime these lights work well because they're kind of like a soft, warm light, and they're not overly bright to blind you. Same thing with these reading lights. They shine more in your lap, and they're designed not to shine in your face. So well done there. HomeLink garage door opener controls are here. And another clip on this side. This does extend out as well and gives you a pretty good amount of coverage. Basically the same thing on the passenger visor. And before we look at the visibility, let's show you the power rear glass there, little slider. All right, and the visibility is pretty much excellent. You can even fold these headrests down, like I mentioned before, to give you even better visibility. And so you have pillars back there, but it's not really a big deal. Big windows to see out the side. And but yeah, with the camera system, the parking sensors, the blind spot detection system, rear cross traffic alert, all that stuff, it's just really easy to drive this vehicle. And here in the front, these side mirrors, there's a little bit of space here so you can see around. So like say I mentioned in the Toyota Tundra, they have these huge mirrors, but they don't give you any space between this pillar and the mirror. And so therefore, it creates this huge blind spot from here all the way to there, and it's just a huge problem. So this one, I can look over it, I can look through, this little section here, because we do have a wide pillar. And a lot of people overlook the fact that this is a blind spot. This is more of an issue a lot of times because you don't think of it as a blind spot, but it is. It's, you know, so yeah, you have to be able to see around it, you know. So this one, you know, I think is done well. And you can see the actual rear view mirror is auto dimmed. It's actually an auto dim rear view mirror in addition to the camera, but the side mirror on the driver's side only is also auto dimming. And it's really, the reason why it's auto dimming is because I have the shade up over the light sensor. Typically it wouldn't dim during the day like that. So yeah, you can see the passenger doesn't auto dim. This screen here on the passenger side is designed not to be seen by the driver. So when you're looking at it from a sharp angle like this, you can't see it. But when you're directly in front of it, sitting in the passenger side, you can see it just fine. And you can see you can slide left and right. And then you have these little indicators here. So you have the home, little notifications here, and then you have different controls. So we can adjust the brightness and stuff like that. We can also set up wireless headphones if we want to, and adjust the brightness, adjust the volume here. So we can actually play some, like a movie or videos or whatever on the screen with our own separate headphones, which is pretty cool. So audio sources are here. So we have Bluetooth, USB, radio, different sources here. And then video sources are USB 1, USB 2. We also have an HDMI input as well, which is right here. So you connect the HDMI cable to here. Let's say you had a, a game system. I mean, you could, hook a PlayStation to it or whatever. Or any kind of HDMI, a camera, like the camera I'm holding has an HDMI out. I can put it in there and then look through video footage or whatever if I wanted to. Scrolling to the right here, we can go in and search different navigation. This would be good for if you're on a trip and you have a navigator sitting in the passenger. They can navigate for you and find different locations here on this screen. And it's connected to that screen, so you can set destinations for the driver. And then your different devices here, your device, and then you have the Bluetooth headphones here. You can pair, and then you can also look at the cameras on the vehicle. So we can look at different views here. Even the auxiliary cams as well once they're set up. And then we have the surround view. You can look at that. So yeah, it's a neat little screen. It has some, I can see where it could come in handy. But yeah, especially, for watching videos or whatever, as a separate passenger. And then you have the on and off button here for that.